Most neurons follow the same general structural plan, but the structure of individual neurons varies and it is adapted to the specific function a given neuron needs to carry out. Different types of neurons show great diversity in size and shape, which makes sense given the tremendous complexity of nervous system and the huge number of different tasks it performs. For instance, specialized neurons called Purkinje cells are found in a region of brain known as cerebellum. Purkinje cells have a highly complex dendritic tree that allow them to receive and integrate an enormous number of synaptic inputs as shown above. Other types of neuron in the cerebellum can also be recognized by distinctive shapes. Similarly, neurons can vary greatly in length. While many neurons are tiny, the axons of the motor neurons that extend from the spinal cord to innervate your toes can be a meter long for longer in basketball players like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Yao Ming. Another example of diversity in form comes from sensory neurons. In many sensory neurons, the morphological distinction between axon and dendrites is blurred. A single myelinated process leaves the cell body and splits into, sending one branch to the spinal cord to communicate information and the second to sensory receptor in periphery to receive information. Neurons forms networks. A single neuron can't do very much by itself, and the nervous system function depends on groups of neurons that works together. Individual neurons connect to other neurons to stimulate or inhibit their activity, forming circuits that can process incoming excuse me information and carry out a response. Neuronal circuits can be very single and composed of few neurons, or they can involve more complex neural networks. The knee jerk reflex. The simplest neuronal circuit are those that underlie muscle stretch responses such as knee jerk reflex that occurs when someone hits the tendon below your knee, the patellar tendon with a hammer. Tapping on the tendon scratches the quadriceps muscle of the thigh, stimulating the sensory neuron that innervates it to fire. Axons from these sensory neurons extend to the spinal cord, where they connect to the motor neurons that establish connection with the quadriceps. The sensory neurons send an excitatory signal to motor neuron, causing them to fire too. The motor neuron in turn stimulates the quadriceps to contract, straightening the knee jerk reflex. The sensory neuron from a particular muscle connect directly to the motor neuron that innervate the same muscle, causing it to contract after it has been stretched. Glial cells. At the beginning of this article, we said that nervous system was made up of two types of cell, neurons and glial, with the neuron acting as the basic function unit of the nervous system and the glial playing a supporting role. Just as supporting actors are essential to the success of movie, the glial cells are essential to nervous system function. Indeed, there are many more glial cells over the brain there are neurons. Types of glial cells and their functions. Astrocytes are the most numerous type of glial cells. In fact, they are the most numerous cells in the brain. Astrocytes come in different types and have variety of function. These help regulate blood flow in the brain, maintain the composition of fluid that surround neurons, and regulate communication between neurons at the synapse. During development, astrocytes help neurons find their way to their destination and contribute to formation of the blood-brain barrier, which help isolate the brain from potentially toxic substances in the blood. Microglia are related to macrophages of the immune system and act as scavengers to remove dead cells and other debris. The oligodendrocyte of the CNS and the Schwann cell of PNS share a similar function. Both of these types of glial cell produces myelin, and insulating substances form a sheath around the axons of many neurons. Myelin dramatically increases the speed with which an action potential travels down the axon, and it's play a crucial role in nervous system function. Central nervous system complex diagram. Satellite glial cells cover the cell bodies of nucleus neurons in PNS ganglia. Satellite glial cells are thought to support the function of the neurons, might act as protective barrier, but their role is still not well understood. Ependymal cells, which line the ventricles of the brain and the central canal of spinal cord, have hair-like cilia that beat to promote circulation of the cerebrospinal fluid found inside the ventricles and spinal canals.